Hey guys, welcome back to another battle report. Today we're going to be continuing our run through all of the expansions for Mantic Games' The Walking Dead All-Out War. And this is the first chapter from the Made to Suffer expansion. It's called The Arena. So here, the description says, after finding the seemingly civilized town of Woodbury, Rick, Michonne, and Glenn are led to the arena. Here they witness firsthand the brutality of the governor's regime. So as we spin the board around there, you can see the governor up on top of the storage crate there with his top men. And then along the fence line, we've got all the citizens of Woodbury come out to watch this fight here. So here are our combatants. Now, if you want to skip straight into the action, you can go and use the timestamps down in the description to jump to any turn you want to. So for this mission, we have Harold, who has the red hat on, against Eugene, who is wearing the shoulder pads. These guys are going to go into the arena. They're going to fight with each other. We've got 6 walkers that are going to start out inside of the arena there with them. And throughout the game, those walkers are going to come into play. We're not going to draw any event cards for this game. And there's going to be some special actions that the guys can take as opposed to just the regular move and fight. And we'll get to those as they come up in the game. So we're going to go ahead and start turn 1. The threat is going to be on 1. We're going to start it with Harold. So Harold, for his first action, is going to move into Eugene. And then for his second action, we're going to use one of the special actions that are in this scenario. And that is going to be Shove. So this says that the survivor pushes an enemy away up to 3 inches. So in order to do that, we're going to have to roll the 50-50 die. So just like all our other videos, badge is good and blank is bad. Alright, so our shove action is going to fail. But by moving into contact with Eugene, we've taken away any activations that he has there. So this chapter doesn't use any event cards. Instead, it just says to roll the blue die and advance the threat by that many. So we're going to go ahead and do that off camera here. So we go ahead, we roll a 3 for that. We up the threat all the way to 4, so we're now in low threat. We're going to go and up the threat by 1 again to 5 and start the melee phase. Alright, so both of these guys have been tooled up to be melee machines, and they've got some crazy special rules that we'll explain again as we get to them. We are going to start out though with Harold, and he's going to roll 2 white dice as his base, and then he's armed with Tyrese's hammer, which gives him an extra white, and it's dual wield. So, we had to take the small knife, so we get one of these that will be re-rollable. So we're going to choose to reroll that single white die there that has a 1 on it. And the other part about Tyrese's hammer, why it costs a couple extra points as opposed to a regular claw hammer. If we happen to roll any criticals, then we get to roll an extra red. So we'll add this in. So Eugene winds up coming up with 5 total successes. And now for Eugene, Eugene has a red and a white as his base. And he's carrying my favorite weapon, which is the Gator Pro, which gives him an extra 2 red. It's sharp, and Eugene has the stab special roll, so we can reroll any of these dice. And we're going to choose to reroll both of those reds. So we wind up with what would be a tied combat. Now, Harold here has a roll that says Scrapper, which says Harold always wins a drawn combat, even when he is fighting survivors and his side does not have initiative. But Eugene has a special rule that says Dirty Fighter, and whenever Eugene attacks in melee and loses or draws, immediately add red to his side's attack roll. So Eugene gets in a free red, and he now wins the combat. So Eugene wins 7-5, so that's 2 wounds, plus another one for the headshot, and his weapon has the sharp roll, so we get to roll the 50-50 die, and on a badge, we inflict 1 more point of damage. And after 1 round of combat, Eugene is able to deal 4 wounds over to Harold. That's going to end turn 1. We've got no bites, no prone walkers to roll for, so we're going to roll right into turn 2. And here at the start of turn 2, the threat is all the way up to 6 already. And we're going to start out with Eugene this time around. And we're going to pan this around so that you can see all of the crowd members that are out there. So we've got the governor and all of his guys, and the doctor's back there. Everyone's around here to see the fight. So Eugene's first action is going to be to boast, which is a special action in this game. This one says that the survivor shows off to the crowd. We're going to roll the black die for each point of damage that the survivor caused in the previous turn. So this time we're going to roll it 4 times. For each badge, we're going to choose a tethered walker, and then we're going to loose that walker, and it's going to shamble towards the nearest survivor. So this could be really bad for Harold. All right, so we caused 4 points of damage last time, so we're going to roll 4 black dice. All right, so Eugene rolls 3 successes there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to loosen 3 of these tethered walkers, and they can shamble their full 6-inch distance. So Harold winds up being in contact with 2 walkers, and a third is within kill zone distance there. And now with Eugene's second action, just to be a good sport about this, he's going to sit there and just see if Harold can make it through this combat. And again, for kill zones, we're just going to move her over into contact here with Harold, so that he's going to be fighting all 3 of them. And then remember, there are no event cards in this game, so we're just going to roll the blue die and advance the threat level by 2 up to 8. We'll go 1 more to 9, and we'll move into melee. And in melee here, we're going to have Harold against 3 walkers. All right, so Harold's going to get his 3 white dice here. And remember, we get to reroll at least 1 of these, so let's go ahead and reroll that blank. And now we get that extra red because we got that headshot. All right, so Harold rolls really, really well there. These walkers are going to have their work cut out for him. Gets 6 purple dice for the 3 walkers. All right, so Harold is going to lose combat there by 1 and be bitten at the end of that combat. Now in our end phase, all of the tethered walkers are going to be yanked back to their starting points, and that leaves us with a bitten Harold to roll for here in the end phase. And he's down to his last wound. So this could very well be the end of the game at just turn 2. So on the bite, badge is good and the infection does not spread. Blank is bad. Harold's going to die and the game will be over. All right, so Harold somehow manages to fight on to live another day, and we're going to have turn 3. Threat has gone up to 10, and this is where I'm going to make my plea to you guys to subscribe to the channel. If you guys haven't gone and watched the other battle reports, what are you waiting for? Go back and watch them. Binge watch them. There's not a whole lot going on right now, and you need something to do. Kill some time and get all caught up. The goal right now is to hit 500 subscribers. I know that's a ways away, but that's what we're shooting for. We're about halfway there, so help me get there, and I really appreciate it. Now back to the game. So Harold's going to have initiative this turn. First thing he's going to do is to move away from Eugene. So that'll be our first action, and then the second action he's going to take will be another of the special actions, recover. So the survivor is going to back away again and restore 1 point of health. So we can move up to an additional 2 inches if we want to, and we're going to gain 1 point of health back, taking us up to 2. All right, and now for Eugene. He knows that Harold has backed himself into a corner, so he's going to make a run action and get over there into contact with him. So we've run him over there, and even though these walkers are tethered, they can still be attracted to the noise, so we're going to go ahead and pull in the closest walker. And she's going to slide right down there into Eugene. So now for kill zones, Harold has run himself over there into that corner, and the punk rock walker is going to move over into contact with him. We're going to advance the threat now by 2 and come all the way up to 12. Make it 13, and we're going to go right into the melee phase. And for melee, we're unfortunately going to have to split this off a little bit. So we're going to have Harold in contact with 1 walker and Eugene in contact with 1 walker. And we're going to start the melee out with Eugene. So Eugene in combat against 1 walker. And we go ahead and remove her. And now I have Harold against his walker. We'll reroll 1 of them, see if we can get a headshot. So after combat, both of those walkers have been removed. There's no prone walkers to roll for. We just have Harold's bite. And at the start of turn 4, the threat has moved up to 14, which means we are now in high threat. The initiative is over with Eugene, so Eugene has medium nerve, so we're going to have to go and roll to see if Eugene panics. So on the panic dice, Eugene is going to So the question mark is going to allow us to take one action, and you can see with the governor looking on ahead up there, he gives him the thumbs down and tells him to charge in and finish this off. So Eugene is going to move into contact with Harold, and we're now going to up the threat by a blue die by 3, taking the threat up to 17. And we'll back the camera out there before we move into the melee phase here. And another special rule that comes into play now says give it some slack. As the fight progresses, the fight organizers spice things up. Once the threat level reaches high, all tethered walkers shamble towards the closest survivor at the start of the event phase, not just those with survivors in the kill zone. So now all of these walkers are going to move out. Alright, so all of those walkers have moved way over towards our survivors here. We're going to go and check some kill zones, and I honestly think this is going to be bad for Eugene. So in a complete 180 of events here, it looked like Eugene was going to just destroy Harold, but now Eugene has to fight not just Harold, but also 2 walkers. So we're going to up the threat by 1, all the way to 18, so this will be our last turn, and let's see what happens here in melee. Alright, so this will be the attacks against Eugene. So we're going to have the 3 white dice for Harold and 3 purple dice for the 2 walkers. And we're going to go ahead and reroll 1 of the white dice. Alright, and now for Eugene's attacks back. Alright, and so with that roll, Eugene's able to win the combat by 1. But now we're going to go ahead and roll the 50-50 die to see if we can add the extra wound from our sharp weapon. Alright, so Harold's going to go ahead and win that combat and remove Harold from the game with the headshot. At the end of the game, all of the walkers are going to be yanked back to their starting locations, leaving Harold there to celebrate his victory. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game. This was a much shorter battle report than I'm used to filming. So hopefully you guys like this one, and you'll go ahead and subscribe to the channel and watch some of the other ones. Make sure you guys stick around to see what happens when we actually make it into Woodbury. And you guys are going to want to see all the awesome terrain that we've got coming out there. Lots of good looking houses and some stuff to fill them up with. So again, I will see you guys in the next battle report.